What's good, YouTube? Runicks YGO here. Finally, our second Fountain Cup tournament has finally concluded, and I just want to do a quick recap and shout out to everyone who played. We had over 53 players that played here in this tournament. Thank you so much for making that happen. I was just going for a minimum of 30, but so many of you guys joined. Thank you guys so much for everyone who participated, who viewed it. And just to jump into it, this is our top 8. Our top 8, all their decks will be in the link in the description. We'll have the Fountain Cup article out there with the link of the tournament and its topping. And all the information of the full VOD will also be there. To our number 1 player in the team BTD, Ranas, or aka in other words, P1, thank you for being our Fountain Cup or FC champion. Shout out to you. Now, going into the Fountain Cup, we hosted it at a time where it was a new ban list, new format, and probably the most notorious that everyone has been waiting for, Malice, has finally came out, and we had the luxury to share with the viewers and the entire Master Duel meta community what Malice can do. And with this top 8, it was a really eventful tournament. We had 5 Malice. Over half the top cut of top 8 was Malice already. 1 Fiendsmith control, 1 Snake Eyes. Crazily, it's still kicking Snake Eyes, very unique there. And Tempai Dragon. We love to still see it. Very all great meta decks. I just want to go over the semifinals and finals game. So sharing these decks or these players, thank you again for being a part of it. Let's jump into it. And before we start, I just want to give a huge shout out to my mods, Loaf and Xander. Thank you guys so much for being my admins. Without you guys, I probably wouldn't have been able to have done this tournament because there were so many mishaps. We accidentally shared all the deck lists on accident. There was little hiccups here and there, but we are only improving. I apologize again for anyone's experience if it was hindered, but thank you so much for the understanding. I will eventually learn the ropes of using Start.gg and being a better host. Thank you guys again, Loaf and Xander. So for the first semifinals game for the FC Cup, it is against semifinalist Shu versus Team SAEMG in the mirror match, with Shu going first. They have a pretty good hand to go full combo with this, and our opponent has a few hand traps as well. So seeing how this game plays out, they use Malice in the Mirror to get Dormouse, their first starter. Having this started, they imperm in response to basically shut off Dormouse to not banish. However, they still have their normal summon, so it still goes through as normal. They get MTP7 here, MTP7 to banish White Rabbit to get Ash Blossomed here. Not looking good. They could have called by the Grave Shu, but however, they still had bodies, so I think they were holding it for something more impactful. With Malice, they can easily eat hand traps and still get bodies to link off going into Red Ransom. Red Ransom will get them Malice in the Mirror. They end phase here, and here they just have 1 hand trap and 1 monster negate. I was surprised now that I'm seeing it for the second time using Called by the Grave. Not using Called by the Grave for the Ash Blossom possibly could have went into a bigger combo. But watching EMG's turn, on turn 2, they use TB11 to banish March Hare as the normal summon to get Dormouse. March Hare comes back to hand by being banished. They link summon the Lingeribo, banishing Dormouse with the effect of March Hare here. But they Call by the Grave it to miss target here essentially. So have to eventually normal summon there, actually banish Wow, yikes. They actually banished Malice in the Mirror, hoping to draw a dark monster, but unfortunately had to rip their entire hand, linking off into Splash Mage. Splash Mage gets back nothing due to Malice in the Mirror, banishing one Malice card to negate a card on the field or monster, and then Red Ransom comes back with March Hare for follow-up. Red Ransom will end up getting Malice in the Mirror. With March Hare here, they end up surrendering. So they both stunned each other pretty well. Game 1 goes to Shu. For the second game, I believe EMG goes first. They set MTP7, sorry, and that's pretty smart to do just in case they ever try to imperm or target any interruptions to the Malice cards. Using MTP7 to banish, March Hare gets Ash Blossomed here. The mirror match could be very very interacting. Malice March Hare comes back due to being banished. Therefore, they banish their own March Hare to get Dominus Impulsed. So White Rabbit does not come back. In addition, they get Chaos Hunter, and then they maxi in response to get Ash Blossom. Crazy chain here. In total, what happened is Ash negates Maxi. Maxi does not go through. Chaos Hunter gets summoned with no draw now. Dominus Impulse negates White Rabbit. And that is the end of that. So both players are pretty much stunned. Pretty good Artifact Lancia. Normal summoning the Maxi to Dark Gloomy. Dark is such a niche card in the mirror match. When it comes up, it is really strong when it comes to this type of game state because you're pretty much desperate to try to get a body on the field. So having this in the Malice Extra deck is very advisable for the mirror match. Going into White Binder. White Binder sets GWC. So with this, it's still pretty difficult to do here because then you still lose your card because you need to try to get over a 2500 monster with floodgating non-banishing. So this is kind of difficult, but they GWC here, gaining 2300 life points, setting GWC, normal summoning the two, going into Access Code Talker. I guess this is how they break through. Access Code Talker, getting 5300, smashing into Chaos Hunter. And it all comes down to this. They Lancia on the standby phase. And proceed to lethal them. Self-lethal themselves. So that is Shu advancing from the semifinals to the finals as the contender for the FC Cup. Shout out to both players, EMG and Shu. For the FC finals, we are having Team BTD Ranas versus Shu, the Malice player. Ranas is playing a Fiendsmith Control Bestial deck, and this is a really huge game. I was blown away watching it. I was pretty tired too, but watching it for the second time, my reaction, they summon Kashtira Unicorn. With BTD Ranas, Unicorn has been such a strong card throughout the whole tournament. It was such a menace in the grind game. I personally believe this is a great meta call that Unicorn and Kashtira rose in stock, in my opinion, against Malice. Only because, again, ripping and banishing face down is pretty detrimental for Malice. So opponent discards for Bestial. Normal summons Lurie, going into Requiem. Normal Fiendsmith stuff, Requiem gets Lacrima. Lacrima sends Fiendsmith in Paradise, and at this point they end here. So for this interruptions with BTD Ranas' end board, we have one hand trap, we have Kashtira rip a card banishing and then extra deck face down. We have the Fiendsmith in Paradise to send the monster to the grave, and then 2 Bestials. In total, 5 interruptions against the opponent. Opponent has practically all 3 1-card starter, and we'll just see how they played right now. Going off, they imperm the Unicorn. Very smart thing here, so they can't rip. They have 4 interruptions left. They Malice. They do the most common and arguably the strongest 1-card combo, Dormouse. Dormouse getting March Hare, having all 4 Malice cards in their hand already. They March Hare to banish Chesty Cat. Let's see, is getting a special summon from the banishment, drawing 2 by using its effect to banish. They Droll Lock. Now the problem here is Malice can still play with the Droll Lock only because all their Malice cards are already here. Little slightly different, but getting Drolled is totally fine here. They set MTP7, the banishment. They link all 3 into Red Ransom. They Fiendsmith in Paradise here, banishing itself to get it Ash Blossom there. Linking the 2 away, they go into Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker targeting, going in with 3 links, destroying without any disruption. Don't forget that Access Code Talker can destroy or pop a card in the field, and the opponent cannot activate anything or in response to that effect. In addition, it goes very hand in hand with Red Ransom here, because using Red Ransom to be banished by Access Code Talker makes you extend even more. Banishing and attacking. Going for almost lethal, they banish Malice to bring it back just to attack again. But the opponent brings out the Baldrake, saving them. Almost lethal there. Going into Splash Mage. Splash Mage to get back Dormouse. Linking the 2 for White Binder. That's just link climbing right here. Banishing all 3. Unfortunately, that was a misplay in my opinion, because targeting the Lacrima in response to Chain means you miss target there. But there was not much they could have banished, but the best thing they possibly could have banished was maybe Lurie. But opponent sets GWC, and then they Malice in Underground to send Malice in the Mirror. Opponent's turn. This is turn 3 now. Opponent uses Kashtira Birth. This card really does do the grind game. So they use MTP7 here in response to add a card to their hand, banishing. Now looking back at it, I think the best thing to would have done was banish Kashtira Birth. Therefore, Unicorn would not have been able to come back. Opponent ends up bringing Neospatians and then Neospatial Aqua Dolphin, link climbing into Moon of Closed Heavens. Moon of Closed Heavens, just ripping cards, attacking, using GWC to bring it back, using the effect to banish all 3 to get targeted here. Very, very interactive here. Having all 3 still banished with Bestial Magnahood effect resolving, and all 3 banishments happening all at once. A lot of chains here. So chain 4, March Hare brings Chesty Cat back to hand. Dormouse gets special summon. And Malice, Red Ransom gets special summon. Now it is important, I'd like to comment that placement is important. I believe that Malice cards should be in 1, 3, and 5 to get protection effects with the Malice Dormouse. Just a passive effect here, just in case they ever use like a lightning storm, for example. It actually saves your link monsters that are connected. They go into Little Knight here on main phase 2, banishing Red Ransom. Red Ransom unfortunately may not come back. They get Druid Swarm in response now. They use White Binder again, very strong here to recurs. They use Unicorn to banish yet another card. They banish Heart Scripter face down, making it impossible to get back. So they MTP7 here to bring it back and draw 1. They then banish 3 cards, at the same time banish Little Knight to White Binder in response. They use the effect of Dormouse to send another Dormouse copy to have 3 bodies, to use March Hare to special summon all 5 bodies on the field, linking into Link Decoder, linking all 4 into Fire Wall Dragon. Link Decoder comes back, using the effect to go to Little Knight banishing Birth. Using the effect of Firewall Dragon to banish. A really strong grind game here, but with this here, they're just attacking, destroying the field, using Firewall Dragon's effect, special. And at this point, Ranas is controlling the game just ever so slightly, banishing the 2, Firewall Dragon, drawing 2 more cards, ripping cards from the deck. Man, it's really difficult now because having cards Dark banished, Heart Scripter banished, no way to get Red Ransom back. So opponent is slowly getting ripped with 4 cards left. They are not able to use their extra deck properly. So with this, I believe they're just self-inflicting, and at this point, Ranas just controlled the game. MVP, in my opinion, was Unicorn ripping all those cards, making them unable to come back, going for lethal. That's game 1 of the FC Finals. Team BTD Ranas is 1-0. Game 2, Shu is 0-1 and chooses to go first. So with this hand, they use Chessy Cat to try to draw with the Call by the Grave against Ash Blossom in hopes to draw 2. Dormouse is now banished. Dormouse is attempted to be special summon, and then they Chaos Hunter here. By discarding Unicorn, they special summon Chaos Hunter. Typically, most plays now, Splash Mage is the way to go. And unfortunately, looking at our opponent's deck, they do not run Cerberus to out it, so they have to just end phase with White Binder. Opponent uses Fiendsmith to get Fiendsmith track. They Droll lock there. Opponent sends Fiendsmith in Paradise and attacks here. Going into Requiem, Engraver gets special to get Impulse. So pretty good way to stop your opponent. They use GWC to bring it back, and then they use, in response, Paradise to send Desiree to send it back to the grave, making them -1. BTD Ranas is slowly controlling the game with just Chaos Hunter by itself, really stopping the deck. They use Requiem in response to get Max Seed, and unfortunately get Ash Blossomed. Ash Blossom negating Max C, getting Lacrima back. Engravers attaching, Engraver sending back Desiree, linking all of them together for sequence. Sending all 3 for Desiree. And having battle, attacking with all 3, just about almost lethaling Shu. Fiendsmith now has 1 Floodgate and 2 Field Negates. Opponent normal summons White Rabbit for MTP7, and sets Malice in the Mirror. I think at this point, it was all said and done. Opponent sends Engraver for another Tract, and they draw unlocked, and MTP7 here to add Marcher to hand. They just battle phase, and that is all said and done. BTD Ranas just 2-0's Shu, and becomes our second FC champion. Now, congratulations for Team BTD Ranas or P1 for winning the Fountain Cup number 2. It was really fun to watch everyone play. Seeing Malice come out too, it taught me a lot how to use the deck just by watching other people. I was not really aware of how Malice worked, but watching really helped me. So thank you for that. Again, thank you to everyone who played in the FC Cup. We had over 50 people play. Thank you again for being there. I truly appreciate it. Till the next tournament, I can't wait to see how everyone's improved. You guys were amazing. Again, shout out to Team BTD Ranas for winning the FC Cup. And that's it. That concludes the Fountain Cup number 2. I appreciate everyone's time for watching. Again, links will be in the description if you want to see everyone's deck list, the full VOD, and the tournament. Thank you guys so much. Runicks YGO out.